now, if I put a tampon onto my vagina, then what happens when I want to pee? And I was like, what do you mean what happens when you want to pee? And they're like, yeah, I just want to know, like, should I remove it so that I pee? And I'm like, but you're not peeing from your vagina.
Everything's unfolding as it should.
Hey, good people, welcome back to Freedom with Fridah. In case you're new here, hi, my name is Fridah Nguku, and this is the best space for you. So subscribe and join the family. Now, I'm going to talk about a very, very common but very essential topic of our lives: technology, internet. But I'm going to start it from some point, from some direction, so we can try and understand this. By now, you know that I mentor young girls in high school and colleges, mostly high school, both girls and boys. So there was this time I was having a talk with girls, and we were talking, it was a sexual talk. We were talking about sex, basically, like, because guys, these people know these things, so we are really very open about it. So in the process of talking about that, we ended up talking about menstrual cycle, and we talked about pads, we talked about tampons and all that. So, and they had so many questions about tampons. Like, for me, I use tampons, I don't use pads. So something very interesting popped up. So in the process of they were asking so many questions about tampons, and they were like, now, if I put a tampon onto my vagina, then what happens when I want to pee? And I was like, what do you mean what happens when you want to pee? And they're like, yeah, I just want to know, like, should I remove it so that I pee? And I'm like, but you're not peeing from your vagina. And they're like, what do you mean I'm not peeing from my vagina? And everyone, I promise you, they're like 90% of those girls didn't know. And it's a boarding school. It's not just like it's actually a big school. And they were like, but how will I pee? But I'm like, you don't pee from your vagina. And they were like, where do I pee from? And this got me thinking, like, how many young people, young girls out there don't even know their reproductive system, this bit of our life. Like, they have no freaking idea. They just go pee when they have menstruals, when they have periods. They just put a pad and everything just flows. They have no idea how that place works. So yesterday, Yami Mami was doing a status, and she was talking about this cup. Other than using a pad or a tampon, other ways, there's a cup that you insert onto your vagina, and then it acts like a tampon. So what it does is, now the blood will come, you will definitely fill up the cup, and then you remove, pour, wash the cup, and insert it back. Literally, it's a way of saving money, because of course that's something you can use and reuse and use compared to tampon. So when Yami Mami was talking about, she was asking questions. Guys, she just told people, ask questions about the cup and I'll be able to answer, because it was her first time using it. And people are like, there's somebody who asked, like, I don't know how old she was, but she was like, so how do I pee when the cup is there? I'm sure it's not a high school person, because clearly they're in school. So this is someone who is already out of high school, and they have no freaking idea that there's a vagina and then there's a urethra. And now we were talking about this with a friend when we discussed about that story of the cup. We're like, should we try? And she was like, do you know that is now coming from women? So imagine how many men don't know how many men don't know how that productive system for a woman looks like. They don't know whether there's a vagina and then there's a urethra. Like, where your vagina is, that's not where you pee from. There's a urethra which is meant for peeing. And now the vagina, that's where your pad that's where your tampon goes in, or that cup, or even that's where sexual intercourse happens. This got me thinking about how much information we have, how big technology has grown, yet we are the most ignorant generation. Like, hey. So as we were talking with a friend of mine, Yvonne, I'm sure you heard me mention Yvonne quite a few times, because I was telling Yvonne, do you know there are people who actually don't know, and they could be people who are even in their 30s, they have no freaking idea that these two things exist. And she was telling me now how this technology is wired, or how this internet is wired, is if you open Opera Mini or Google or Chrome, whatever it is that you're using, and maybe you're opening to Google how to insert a tampon, all right, the first thing you do is open the app first. So you click on Opera Mini, and the first news you get there is a trending news. It could be Museveni's did what, or it could be this celebrity has broken up with who, or it could be someone has killed their 5 kids. So what you get there is a trending story, stories that will catch your eye. So what happens is you are going there to Google about a tampon, and then you find that story and you're like, okay, you click on it. So when you click on it, you start reading. Read. Before you know it, it leads you to the next story. So you click on it, and before you know it, 2 hours gone, and you're like, oh shit, I was supposed to go to work. Or maybe I was supposed to sleep. Or I need to go to town. And then you close, and you forget the reason you went in for that internet check was to get how to insert a tampon. So I feel like we have a lot of information out here. Technology is all grown. You can literally read and know about anything you want on this planet, on YouTube, on Google, on whatever it is. You can just Google it and you will be able to learn about it. Yet we are the most ignorant. We don't even know how these things existed. And I am sure Mommy God people, I'm sure very many people actually Googled like the difference between a urethra and a vagina. Because I feel like Google, it doesn't matter how you ask the question, it will give you options to choose from. And I'm sure there are people who are like, wait, there's a difference between a urethra and a vagina. There's actually a urethra in women. Like there's a place I can pee from, and then there's a vagina. That so many people don't know anything. Yet we have so much information out here. And I'm not just saying you guys, I'm one of those people who I get distracted. And like I said, this year is an intentionality kind of year where I choose what I want to do and I intentionally do it. So what I do is nowadays, if I want to Google something, I make sure I Google and read that. I will not be distracted. Internet can easily distract you because what they are doing, it's also a business. So what they are doing is ensuring that you get that information, not necessarily what you're looking for, because maybe what you're looking for is not trending, is not something that many people look for, but they'll give you that story as the first thing you see, that trending story, that catchy story. So be very careful not to get distracted by internet or get distracted by things that are popping on this Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, that you forget that you also need to learn. Let's use our internet to learn. Let's use our internet to know things. Let's use our internet to understand things we don't know. Let's use our internet to take that course that I want to know about interior designing, that I want to know on how to install a wallpaper, that I want to know how to remove a wallpaper. I want to know how, just learn, guys, just learn. There's so much information out here, but unfortunately, we are so distracted that we don't even focus. So let this be a year where you focus a lot on getting the right information and don't get distracted. Sometimes you even get on Instagram, like you want to look, I want to get maybe an office table, and you want to check where I can get an office table on Instagram, where companies or organizations, businesses that are selling desks, or should I call them office tables. So you get on Instagram, you open your Instagram app, and pop, Edgar Obare has been, like you get distracted so easily. I'm not here to bash anyone. I don't want to be mentioned by Edgar, but just be very intentional on the information you're trying to get. Go get it, and then after getting it, now you can go ahead and read all those things. But don't get distracted. Don't get distracted. There's so much information we need to learn. And if you have a girl out there, please teach them things, guys. It felt so common to know there is a urethra and a vagina to me, yet Form 3s, actually the girls I was talking to were Form 3s and 4s. Most of them didn't even know such a thing existed. And I remember telling them, when you get back to your room, please take a mirror and have a look at how you look down there. It's your body. Get to understand how it functions. Let's use our internet to the right way. Let's grow ourselves through it. Not just gossip, not just memes, let's also learn something out of it. Memes are good, gossip okay, but guys, let's also learn something from our internet. Don't get distracted. Okay, awesome. Anyway, if you did not watch my previous video, please do. There's a lot of good information there. You could learn a lot from it, so please make sure you do that. Anyway, stay positive, stay focused, and see you on my next video. Speak well of yourself. Bye.